All right, so today we're diving deep into something pretty cool, something just for you, as a Pisces.
Uh-huh.
It's like think of it as your personal roadmap through April 2025.
Yeah.
And we're pulling all this from like a really interesting tarot reading.
Okay.
It's got Lenormand cards in there, a full Celtic cross spread, the whole shebang.
Nice.
And our mission here really is to sort of sift through all that, find the gold nuggets, the insights that you can actually use.
Yeah, the things that'll really resonate, right? So you don't
Yeah.
get bogged down in the details.
Right, exactly. It's like a shortcut to feeling informed and aligned, but not overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
Now, we dove into this reading specifically looking at it through the lens of, what it means for you as a Pisces.
Yeah.
And some fascinating patterns emerge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We're seeing like some potential for big news coming your way.
Okay.
There's a sense of momentum, like you're moving past things that have been holding you back, and a really strong message about taking control, stepping into your power to create the outcomes you want.
I love that.
Oh, and we can't forget the hints of new beginnings, like across different areas of life. It's pretty exciting stuff.
That is exciting. And you as a Pisces, you're so deeply intuitive.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like this deep dive is really going to connect with that part of you, illuminate things you might already be sensing.
I think so, too.
Okay, let's jump in. The reading opens with these two Lenormand cards, the Garden and the Rider. What struck you about that combo?
Well, the garden, it often points to like news or announcements, maybe even something happening within your social circles, your community.
Okay.
And then the rider, it brings in this energy of movement, messages, things coming towards you.
Right.
So putting those two together, it's like a pretty strong indicator that, some important news or information is headed your way this April.
Okay, so for our listener, a Pisces, this could be like an actual piece of news they receive. But, thinking about that intuitive side, how else could this manifest?
Oh, absolutely. Pisces are so connected to their intuition. So this news could also be like a strong gut feeling, a sudden realization that just hits you as truth, or even a clear message from your inner voice.
Wow.
It's really about paying attention to both, right? Like what's coming in externally, but also those subtler internal cues.
Yeah, those can be just as important. Now, looking at the overall energy, the Six of Swords is present, and that feels kind of hopeful, like a shift towards something better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The Six of Swords, traditionally, it speaks to moving away from difficulty towards calmer waters. It's just a transition, a journey towards improvement, more peace. So if you've been dealing with challenges lately, this card is a good sign.
It's like a sign of relief, like smoother sailing ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
And this seems to tie into a bigger theme we're seeing, this sense of reinvention, especially with Neptune, eventually moving out of Pisces later in 2025.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Neptune's been a big influence for Pisces, really shaping the energy of your sign.
Right.
So when it moves into Aries, that's a turning point, a time for Pisces to redefine themselves, their path,
Yeah.
Build on all the wisdom they've gained during Neptune's transit.
It's almost like an era ending and a new one beginning. Now, one point in the reading touched on potential anxieties around Neptune in Aries affecting finances, but it also offered a really interesting perspective on that, almost like a don't worry too much kind of vibe.
What it really boils down to, and this resonates with the whole empowering message of the reading, is that astrology gives us one layer of understanding,
Right.
but it doesn't dictate your reality.
Okay.
The message is don't get stuck on potential negatives.
Yeah.
Focus on your own power, your
Yeah.
ability to manifest what you want.
It's like, don't just passively worry, take charge. And speaking of taking charge, the Chariot appears as the final outcome of the reading.
And that's huge.
Right.
The Chariot is all about control, determination, achieving victory through willpower, focused intention.
Powerful imagery.
Right. It reminds you that you're in the driver's seat of your life, no matter what's happening astrologically or otherwise.
So for our listener, whether it's about finances or anything else, the takeaway is to step into that power, cultivate discipline, and align your actions with what you truly desire.
Yeah, not just external things like money.
Right.
When your motivations are rooted in meaning, in your dreams and values, then material success, abundance, it tends to flow naturally from that.
I love that. Okay, the Two of Cups shows up as a crossing energy in the Celtic cross, which can mean it either supports or challenges the main flow.
Yeah.
What's the message for our Pisces listener here?
What's interesting is it's not just about romance. The Two of Cups here speaks to your connection with your inner guidance, your higher self.
Okay.
So it's a reminder to listen to that voice, tune into your intuition, not like a major hurdle, more like a resource to tap into.
So, once again, trusting your gut. Then we have the rider Lenormand again, paired with the Nine of Hearts this time. Sounds like some romance might be brewing.
Could be.
Yeah.
The rider, something approaching, entering your awareness, coupled with the Nine of Hearts, which is all about love, happiness, fulfillment.
Oh, wow.
It suggests the potential for new love or existing love deepening, entering your thoughts and maybe even your life.
That's lovely. But then we have the Five of Swords appearing in the realm of thoughts. Is there a connection there? Maybe a cautionary note?
Yeah, there's definitely a connection. The Five of Swords can point to a need to let go.
Okay.
Past conflicts, disappointments, even old ways of thinking. So considering this potential for new love, symbolized by the Nine of Hearts, it suggests that to fully embrace those new beginnings,
Right.
which are also supported by the Fool card later on.
Yeah.
There might be some letting go needed, some clearing of mental space.
It's like making room for the new, the positive. Now, at the foundation of the reading, we see the Four of Pentacles. Sometimes that card can feel a bit restrictive, like holding on too tightly. But the interpretation here seemed different.
Yeah. The Four of Pentacles can mean clinging or fear of scarcity, but in this position, at the foundation, it signifies a solid base, security, resources you have right now, like a platform to launch from.
And tying that back to the Six of Swords, that forward movement.
Yeah.
This foundation could be so key for, like, revisiting old projects, starting new ventures, whatever it is.
Exactly. You've got this groundwork, this sense of security. So the message is recognize that, appreciate it, and build on it, with that chariot energy, that drive.
I love that. Shifting to past influences, we see the Endings and Beginnings card, along with stability and security. Sounds like a positive evolution.
It really does. Those two cards together, they show a transition from maybe a shaky period, uncertain, to something more solid, more assured. And this makes sense, timing-wise. Well, this reading comes after a time with lots of retrograde activity, which can make things feel stuck, delayed.
Right. And then we have the King of Wands in that past position. Does that suggest you've grown in confidence, assertiveness?
That's exactly it. The King of Wands, he's bold, self-assured, takes action towards his goals. So it's like those past months, maybe influenced by those retrogrades, were a time of inner work.
Okay.
Cultivating your authority, your willingness to go after what you want.
So the challenge has actually strengthened you. And now the message is to recognize that, step into it, especially in work or business, right?
Absolutely. Own that power.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the near future, we've got the Impulse card and the Fool. That sounds spontaneous, doesn't it? This combo points to sudden decisions, leaps into new adventures. And there's a really interesting perspective here about how this relates to Pisces.
Yeah, the idea that what seems impulsive to others is actually the result of a lot of internal processing.
Right. It might look sudden, unplanned, but for Pisces, there's often this deep internal phase beforehand.
Like planning, considering things that others don't see.
Exactly. So those seemingly out-of-the-blue decisions, they often have a solid foundation. The guidance is to trust those instincts. Don't be swayed by what other people think.
Even if they don't get it. Then we have the potential outcome. Don't let your past hold you back, and luck is on your side. Super encouraging.
Very encouraging. It's like release the baggage, the limiting beliefs, and believe in your good fortune. You've done the work. Now step forward with confidence. The universe has got your back.
Nice. Looking ahead to the coming months, we see the Page of Pentacles. That usually means learning, new studies, maybe new environments.
That's it. The page is curious, grounded, dedicated to learning new skills. It could be formal study, developing talents, or just adapting to new things and learning as you go. The key is progress might be gradual, but keep at it. Consistent effort leads to success.
And that learning, those new beginnings, they might connect to a new relationship too. The Two of Cups and the Page of Pentacles together.
You picked up on that. It suggests a new connection, early stages, maybe communication, shared interest, exploring possibilities together. It hasn't blossomed yet, but the potential is there.
Oh, exciting. In closest relationships, we have the Seven of Wands. That often emphasizes boundaries, standing your ground.
It does. The Seven of Wands is about defending your position, upholding your boundaries. So in all your close relationships, the message is to be clear, assertive about what you accept, and stick to it. Don't let people overstep.
Good advice. For future feelings, motivations, the Three of Wands shows up. Expanding opportunities, renewed drive.
The Three of Wands is like your horizons are broadening. new possibilities, a sense of adventure, and that motivation to go after your goals, whether it's personal projects, career, even well-being.
Okay. And then the final outcome, as we discussed, is the Chariot. Victory, success, achieving what you set out to.
It all comes back to that central theme of control, aligning your intentions with your actions. That as within, so without idea. Steering yourself towards success no matter what.
Love it. Now let's get into specifics. Regarding love and relationships, we have the Four of Cups, Six of Swords, and Two of Cups. This seems to be about being open to new possibilities.
Yeah, it acknowledges that past disappointments, maybe even apathy, might have made you guarded.
Makes sense.
But with that Six of Swords energy, moving towards better things, and the potential for new connections with the Two of Cups.
Yeah.
The message is to let go of that guardedness, be receptive to love showing up in unexpected ways.
Because it might not look like what you're used to. Okay, in the realm of thoughts, we have both the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands. Internal conflict, mental challenges.
Those 5 cards together, they highlight the importance of your inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Don't get trapped in negativity, self-doubt. Step out of your head, and don't let those inner battles hold you back from the opportunities coming your way.
Good advice. We also see justice with the Four of Pentacles, rebalancing, fairness, maybe.
Justice is about balance, fairness, reevaluation. With the Four of Pentacles, that stable base, it suggests you've been bringing things into equilibrium.
Like making sure things are right.
Exactly. Getting things in order.
And following that King of Wands energy, we have the Ace of Wands. New inspiration, fresh ideas, new options opening up.
The Ace of Wands, new beginnings, creative energy, inspiration. So after that King of Wands development, it's like those new possibilities are here. Exciting times.
Yeah. And with the Fool's fresh start energy, we have the Three of Swords. Healing from past hurts, being ready for those new beginnings.
This is important, especially with those potential new connections. The Three of Swords, heartbreak, lingering pain. So to truly embrace the Fool's potential, you got to heal those wounds, practice forgiveness. There might be fear of repeating those hurts, but the Fool reminds you, new experiences can be genuine, positive.
Okay. The Two of Swords with the Page of Pentacles, that suggests things might not go exactly as planned.
Right. The Two of Swords, uncertainty, maybe missing information, facing a decision, and the Page, learning, adapting, new paths.
Yeah.
It's a message to be open-minded, flexible, because unexpected twists and turns might happen.
Be ready for anything. Death and the Seven of Wands, transformation in your connections, your relationships.
Death, it's about endings leading to new beginnings, transformation.
Yeah.
And the Seven of Wands, asserting boundaries.
Right.
It suggests that some connections might need to change, evolve, maybe even end to allow for your growth.
Okay.
Or maybe it's about being open to totally new connections that better suit who you are now.
Okay, this is interesting. The Ten of Cups shows up with the Three of Wands, the Chariot, and the Impulse card. That sounds like things could move quickly in the romance department.
It does, right. The Ten of Cups, ultimate happiness, fulfillment, especially in relationships, family.
Yeah.
Combined with exploring new horizons, taking action, being spontaneous. It suggests a really fulfilling romantic connection could develop fast. Just be ready to recognize and embrace it when it comes.
Don't miss it. Now, the Queen of Cups with the Chariot. Following your intuition, leading with your heart, that leads to success, especially financially.
The Queen of Cups, emotional wisdom, compassion, following your heart. And the Chariot, focused, goal-oriented. Together, they emphasize that when your actions are aligned with your true feelings, your intentions, you're more likely to achieve your goals, including financial abundance and emotional fulfillment.
Makes sense. With Neptune moving into Aries long-term, the focus is on building permanent, sustainable structures in your life.
Yeah, after a period that may have felt fluid, imaginative, maybe even a bit undefined, the energy shifts to creating lasting foundations, tangible results. You've learned from the past. Now you can consciously build the reality you want, one that brings security and fulfillment long-term.
Awesome. The Submission card, which we see as aligning with the Eight of Swords, encourages you to break free from anything holding you back.
The Eight of Swords, feeling restricted, trapped. But those limitations are usually self-imposed. So this card reminds you to identify those limiting beliefs, those situations you've allowed to confine you, and break free.
Take back your power. And the Independence card, that acknowledges your growth and self-reliance, freedom from people-pleasing.
It celebrates how far you've come, Pisces. You're more self-sufficient, trusting your judgment, not needing validation from others. You're owning your autonomy.
So great. Lust with the King and Ace of Wands. Passionate new connection, but with a note of caution.
Oh, there's definitely passion, attraction, intense desire there. But the message is, lasting relationships need more than just initial sparks.
Right.
Build deeper connections, shared values beyond that initial excitement.
Good advice. And surprisingly, the organization card is key for progress, even for those who aren't naturally organized.
It might not come naturally, but even simple routines, systems, can make a huge difference.
How so?
They create a framework for achieving goals, free up mental space, and give you that sense of momentum.
It's like setting yourself up for success. And finally, the isolation card. Someone, something might be pulling you out of that introspection, that solitude. Time to shine, connect with others.
It's about emerging from that inward focus into a more social phase. New friendships, romantic connections, just more vibrancy in your social life. Embrace those opportunities, Pisces. It's your time to shine.
So to wrap this all up, April 2025 is looking like a month of big movement, huge potential for you, Pisces. Important news, a chance to take control, and new beginnings all over the place.
It really is. And throughout it all, trust your intuition, embrace the changes, and act with conviction to create what you desire.
Powerful stuff.
Don't let the past hold you back, Pisces. You have the strength and wisdom to create a bright future.
On that note, here's something to think about. What area of your life feels most ready for a big leap forward? And what's one step you can take right now, like that chariot driver, to steer yourself towards that? Remember your inner wisdom and those unexpected opportunities waiting to be discovered. Keep exploring, Pisces, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.